Okay, so I have over $500,000 in available credit limits to me on the personal credit card side. I got this by strategically increasing my credit limit, but I also got this by applying for credit cards in the right way. So you can learn at least two things from this video. You can learn how to increase your credit limits, but you can also learn how to get the most credit limit out of applying for credit cards. So we'll go down the list. We'll start with Chase. So with the Chase IHG Premier credit card, I have a $5,000 credit limit. That's not my starting credit limit. That is moving credit limits around because I applied for other Chase cards and I had to lower credit limits, and then I had to give credit limits here and there. So that's not what I came to the table with the IHG Premier credit card, but 5,000 is where I'm at right now, and I'm good with that. Next is I have 3 Chase Sapphire reserves. So the first one has 10,000, the second one has 10,000, and the third one has 10,000. Now I got 3 Chase Sapphire reserves by having one, and then I had a Chase Slate, and then I had a Chase Freedom Unlimited, and then I upgraded the rest of those to Chase Sapphire reserves. So that's how I got 3 Chase Sapphire reserves, all with $10,000 credit limits, because they have to have $10,000 credit limits because they are Visa Infinite credit cards. Visa Infinite credit cards have to have $10,000 credit limits, at least with Chase they do. Next is the Chase Ritz-Carlton credit card, which I have from product changing a Bonvoy Boundless credit card too, and that one is at $10,000 in credit limit. My highest credit limit with Chase, which is the only card that I've ever received a credit limit increase for, is the Chase United credit card. It's sitting at $18,000 in available credit limit. Next, we have the World of Hyatt sitting at $5,200 in available credit limit. And then we have a card that I just unboxed video up here, which is the Marriott Bonvoy Bountiful credit card sitting at $15,700 in available credit limit. And then we have the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless credit card, which I actually had to fight for reconsideration in December of 2024 because they wouldn't approve me for the card. But I was on the phone for 4 hours and I finally got it pushed through after going through my 4th customer service representative. And then they did not want to give me a credit limit on its own. They wanted me to move some credit limit from a different card. So I ended up having to move some money from, I think, the Hyatt credit card, which was at $10,200. So I had to move $5,000 of it to the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless to help it out. All right, and those are all my Chase cards. Next, so I have about 50 credit cards, and I'm not going to name all of them because I have 10 American Express Platinum cards, 7 personal, 3 business Platinums, and those don't count. Well, especially the business ones, because this is all on the personal side, but the Platinum cards don't even count toward this $500,000 available credit limit. But with American Express, I have 3 Hilton Aspires. One has 10,000, the other has 10,000, and then another has 15,000 in available credit limit. So that's the Hilton Aspire. How did I get 3 Hilton Aspires? I applied for one. I applied for the other in July of 2023. And then I upgraded one from the Hilton Ascend to the Hilton Aspire. The Hilton Ascend is what the Surpass is currently called, that second tier Hilton credit card. Next, so I have all 5 credit card slots with American Express filled. Next is the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant credit card, which has a $3,100 credit limit. I think that's my lowest credit limit on any card, and they will not increase it for me because I've already done that and they haven't, and that will just bring more scrutiny onto my account. So I'd rather just keep it where it is. I'm not going to get any more credit limit increases with Chase, and I'm certainly not going to get any more credit limit increases with American Express. Last but not least, I have the Delta Reserve credit card, which sits at $17,100, and that is my initial credit limit with Delta. Next card on here is the Citi Prestige. Now, it's not available for application anymore, but I still have it. So the Citi Prestige currently has $18,000 on it, and I requested a credit limit increase. I think this is my 2nd credit limit increase that I requested, and it was approved. So now it's at 18,000. It was probably at like 10,000 or 12,000 before, then it went to 15, and now it's at 18. Next is the Citi American Airlines Executive World Elite Mastercard, which currently sits at $26,500. And then I have a Citi Custom Cash, which sits at $9,000. So those are all of my Citi cards. Now, I've requested credit limit increases with all my Citi cards, and I usually do that every 6 months. Next, we have Navy Federal. I have the Navy Federal Platinum credit card, which has a $49,000 credit limit. I have the Navy Federal Cash Rewards Plus, which is my newest credit card, which has a $5,000 credit limit. And then I have the Navy Federal Go Rewards credit card, which has an $11,000 credit limit. And that was a card that I got before I joined the military while I was in the delayed entry program. I can't increase the credit limit on that because back in 2017 or 2018, I added my wife onto it as a co-applicant. Didn't know what I was doing, and basically it prevents you from getting any credit limit increases with the card. Ridiculous. Next, we have a bank where I have a lot of large credit limits with. It's Bank of America. So the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite. I have two of those. I have a $20,000 credit limit on one, and then I have a $26,400 credit limit on the other. And those credit limits were gotten with initial application, but also with requesting credit limit increases, which Bank of America they were pretty good about. Now they're not pretty good about it because I have so much credit limit with them that they're just like, you're good where you are. And then I have the Bank of America travel credit card, which I just requested a credit limit increase for, and it is now at $20,000, which is a lot different than what it was before. I think I just increased about over $10,000 in this last credit limit increase that I requested back earlier this month in December. Next company I have is US Bank. So with US Bank, I have the US Bank Altitude Reserve credit card, which isn't open applications anymore, but it has a $20,000 credit limit. And I have another US Bank Altitude Reserve credit card, which has a $22,000 credit limit. Now, US Bank has been okay about increasing credit limits. In fact, US Bank is probably one of my favorite banks, especially on the business credit card side, because I have two business credit cards with US Bank. And then my highest credit limit with US Bank is the US Bank Korean Air credit card, which has a $25,000 credit limit. And I did not get approved for that card on the first go round. They basically had to send my application into review, and this was more my fault. What I should have done is I should have created the Korean Air SkyPass account before I applied and then put that information into my account. But because I didn't do that, because I expected the application to create it for me, it basically slowed the entire process down, and I had to call in to reconsideration to see what was wrong. And they said, hey, we just don't have a Korean Air SkyPass account for you. And so I created one, and I called back, gave them my account number, and they said, okay, it'll take about a week for us to verify this Korean Air SkyPass account. But yeah, they gave me a $25,000 credit limit, so US Bank really likes me. Next, we have the USAA Cash Plus Rewards credit card, which has a $15,500 credit limit. And USAA, they think they're really funny. They think they're real cute. I requested a credit limit increase with them earlier this month, and I was at $15,000 in credit limit, and they increased it by $500 to $15,500. So USAA basically told me to pounce in. Next, we have the Barclays View credit card. This is a credit card that I still have because it used to be the Barclays Uber credit card, but then the Uber card went away, but they had to give everybody a different credit card. So they gave us all the Barclays View credit card, which doesn't do anything. It just keeps credit history alive, but that card is sitting at $7,900. And the only reason that this card had an increased credit limit, I believe, is because I had a balance transfer on the Barclays View credit card, and having that balance transfer for like 4, 5, 6 months on it, it increased the credit limit because they just automatically increased it. Next, we have one of my newest credit cards, which is the Wyndham Rewards Earner credit card, which is at $9,000 in credit limit. And I just applied for that and got $9,000 in credit limit. Next, we have the Wells Fargo Reflect credit card, which has an $18,800 credit limit. Now, I like the Wells Fargo Reflect card. I think it's one of the best balance transfers, if not the best balance transfer card on the market outside of a business credit card. And I've gotten like 2 or 3 credit limit increases with that, because I think I started out with maybe like $7,000 in credit limit, and then I went to 12, and now I'm at $18,800. Next, we have the Discover It credit card. Just like the Wells Fargo Reflect, it's one of the best balance transfer credit cards, and I started out with pretty low credit limit, like $6,000. Now I'm at $16,500 within 2 years. Next, we have the Capital One Quicksilver credit card, which sits at $20,000 right now. So for the longest time, my Quicksilver sat at $15,000, and I just couldn't get a credit limit increase. And then finally this year, I was able to increase that credit limit from $15,000 to $20,000. And there was strategy behind it. It was like putting spin on the card so that at least it shows that I was using the card, and then requesting a credit limit increase. And that kind of helped me out. But you got to let like a statement cycle or 2 pass so that they think that you're using the credit card. And then with Citi again, I have the Citi Best Buy credit card, which has a $17,000 credit limit. Now, it cost me a hard pull to get this credit limit increase back in 2022. But I probably went from like $10,000 to $17,000 with the Best Buy credit card. And then with the Zelles credit card, now I don't really like having store credit cards, but these are cards that I got back before, like these are like 10-year-old cards. But I increased the Zelles credit card's credit limit to $13,000 from, I believe it was $10,000, and before that it was like $6,000. So those are all my credit limits. That totals up to $513,700. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Now, how do I get such high credit limits and get these credit limit increases? It's both a combination of being strategic, but also understanding what the credit card application is asking for. It's asking for your income, and then it asks for either if you're renting or owning. I'm owning, and it asks for your mortgage. Now, your mortgage payment doesn't necessarily always include just what you think about. If you live with another person, like a wife or a spouse, there are two people paying into that. So to lower your debt to income ratio, if it's just a system analyzing your credit card application, why not just put half of the rent or half of the mortgage and then include the entire income that you 2 or 3 people bring in? And that's how I get such high credit limits. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.